It's something very personal I want to talk about today. Something I've lived, something I continue to learn every single day. It's not complicated, it's not grand, but it has changed everything for me. There's one standard that has quietly shaped my relationships, my career, my peace of mind, and ultimately what I allow into my life. That standard is self-respect. Not the kind that announces itself loudly, not ego, not arrogance, but the gentle, firm, unwavering kind, the kind that whispers to you when no one is watching, the kind that tells you, this is not enough for me. The kind that helps you walk away, not to punish someone else, but to protect your own heart, your dignity, your values. I didn't always understand this. There was a time when I confused tolerance with strength. I thought enduring things, situations, people, emotions that drained me, made me brave. But strength isn't about how much you can take. Real strength is knowing what you no longer need to take and acting on it. You see, what you attract into your life is a direct reflection of what you believe you deserve. It's easy to say, I deserve better, but the real question is, do your choices reflect that belief? We teach people how to treat us, not with our words, but with our boundaries. If we accept inconsistency, we get more of it. If we tolerate disrespect, it becomes a pattern. But when you raise your standard, you change the game. Not just for others, but for yourself. This standard self-respect becomes your inner compass. It grounds you when the world becomes noisy. It reminds you of who you are when others try to define you. And it gives you the strength to walk away, not in anger, but in alignment. I've had moments in my life where walking away felt like breaking. Saying no felt selfish. Choosing myself felt lonely. But over time, I learned something. You cannot receive what you truly deserve while holding on to what you've outgrown. Whether it's a relationship that feels one-sided, a job that drains you more than it fulfills you, or a friendship that constantly crosses your boundaries, holding on to less than you deserve doesn't make you loyal. It makes you unavailable to the things that are actually meant for you. And clarity is powerful. You stop begging for crumbs of validation. You stop shrinking yourself to make others feel comfortable. You stop bending your values just to keep the peace. You start showing up as you, fully, authentically, unapologetically. And when that happens, something beautiful begins to unfold. You attract people who recognize your worth without you having to prove it. You find opportunities that resonate with your soul, not just your resume. You create space for joy that is rooted, not borrowed. Peace that is still, not performed. I remember a phase in my life where everything looked beautiful on the outside, but inside I was tired. I was giving more than I had, smiling when I was hurting, saying yes when I wanted to say no. Until one day I sat with myself and asked, what would life look like if I chose me? That question changed everything. Choosing yourself is not abandonment of others. It's a return to your truth. It's not about building walls. It's about setting healthy doors. And it's not about expecting perfection. It's about requiring respect. Respect in how people speak to you. Respect in how you speak to yourself. Respect in the standards you set for your life. And let me be very honest. When you raise your standard, some people will fall away. That's not rejection. That's alignment. The people who are meant for you will rise to meet your standard, not ask you to lower it. And that's a lesson we often learn the hard way. We hold on, we compromise, we rationalize, because we want to be kind, because we see potential, because we don't want to be alone. But there is a difference between kindness and self-neglect, between love and between love and attachment, between hope and self-deception. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you believe you're worthy of. So ask yourself, if I believed I was truly worthy, What would I stop tolerating today? Maybe it's the friend who only calls when they need something. Maybe it's the partner who makes you feel like you're asking for too much when all you want is consistency. Maybe it's the job that no longer sees you, hears you, or grows you. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the way you speak to yourself every morning in the mirror. Because the way you speak to yourself becomes the foundation of everything else. If that voice is critical, harsh, dismissive, life will reflect that tone. But if that voice is loving, encouraging, respectful, life begins to shift. You begin to glow differently. You begin to choose differently. You begin to live differently. There's something incredibly magnetic about a person who knows their worth. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't prove. They simply are. And that energy attracts what is meant for them. Because they are no longer settling for what isn't. I'm not saying this is easy. It's not. Sometimes raising your standard means walking away from something you wanted to work. Sometimes it means being misunderstood. Sometimes it means choosing solitude over shallow connection. But that space, that silence, that stillness, it becomes sacred. Because it's in that space that healing begins. It's in that space that self-trust is built. It's in that space that you remember you were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong people. You don't need to become louder to be heard. You need to become clearer about who you are. You don't need to dim your light to be accepted. You need to stand in your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Because the moment you decide to honor your worth, the world begins to mirror it back. You attract people who see you, not just for how you look, but for how you live. You create opportunities that feel like a reflection of your purpose. You start building a life, not that looks perfect on Instagram, but that feels peaceful in your soul. And that is where everything changes. So today, if you remember one thing, let it be this. You are allowed to expect more. You are allowed to require respect. You are allowed to raise your standard, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you finally realize you are worthy of real love, of deep joy, of authentic peace. And the only thing standing between you and that life is what you choose to tolerate. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you're ready for. And when your standard becomes self-respect, the things that once drained you begin to fall away. And I don't understand why people think that their surprise is the one thing that makes you settle down and get still. You become self-respect. The things that once drained you begin to fall away. Not because they're bad, but because they no longer match who you've become. And who you are becoming, that version of you, she is not just worthy of more, she is the standard. Thank you.